Welcome to the Wisdom of Wealth channel. What have I told you? That in the richest country in the world, over 43 million adults can't even read or write properly. Yeah, the same country that gave us Harvard, Stanford, and MIT. The place where your zip code can decide your future before you've even started school. This is the side of American education nobody talks about. When we think about U.S. education, we picture shiny campuses, genius students, and world-class universities. It's easy to believe the system must be amazing, right? But the truth is a lot messier. Only about 40% of Americans even make it into a four-year college. Japan, closer to 60%. And graduation? In the US, roughly 60% finish. In Japan, over 90% do. Here's the shocker, 21% of American adults, that's over 43 million people, can tread or write at a basic level. And even among those who can read, more than half only have the reading skills of a sixth grader. 1 in 5, below fifth grade level. That's why most newspapers and popular books here are written for a fifth- grade reading level. Not because they're dumbing it down, but because otherwise, millions couldn't follow along. And it's not the same everywhere. Some states do worse than others: California, New York, Florida, Texas. California, home of Stanford and Silicon Valley, is actually near the bottom. Nearly a quarter of adults there lack basic literacy skills. And this isn't just a school problem. Low literacy costs the U.S. over $2.20 trillion a year. Who's hit the hardest? People from poor families. Many never finish high school. Many struggle with grades their whole lives. Some end up in trouble with the law. About 70% of people in these situations can tread beyond a fourth- grade level. And when you can tread well, your world shrinks: fewer jobs, fewer opportunities, and a harder time making smart decisions. Without support from family, schools, or the community, it's way too easy to get pulled into gangs, drugs, or just give up. In poor neighborhoods, it's even more obvious. COVID made it worse. When classes went online, families without WI-5 were just locked out of school completely. For kids with learning disabilities, remote learning was basically impossible. And then there's race. Stanford research says Black and Hispanic students are, on average, 2 to 3 years behind white students academically. One big reason? Redlining. Public schools get their funding from local property taxes. Rich neighborhoods, mostly white, pump more money into their schools. That means better facilities, better paid teachers, and more resources starting in preschool. Poor neighborhoods, less money, more teacher turnover, and way fewer opportunities. A few years back, a science competition in Silicon Valley made this painfully clear. Most of the kids there were white, Indian, or Middle Eastern. They'd been practicing every week with parents right by their side. Meanwhile, kids from underfunded schools didn't even get a proper rehearsal some couldn't go because the school couldn't pay for a bus. They still showed up and tried their best. But the gap in preparation was impossible to ignore. In poor communities, parents often work long hours, so they can't be as involved. Low teacher pay makes it harder to attract and keep good teachers. And here's something else: Black students are more likely than white students to be suspended for the same behavior. One suspension can push a kid down a path it's hard to come back from missed classes. Falling behind, losing hope. Yes, the U.S. has some of the best universities in the world, But right alongside that, there's a deep, stubborn gap in opportunity. For some, education is a ladder. For others, it's a woe. And the difference? It's not always about how hard you work. It's about where you start. And for millions, that starting line is way behind everyone else's. So next time you hear about America's world minus class education, remember there's another side to the story. A side where millions are left behind, not because they don't care, not because they don't try, but because the system never gave them a fair shot. And maybe the real question isn't, why aren't they succeeding? It's, why are we okay with the system that sets them up to fail?